Let's talk about the 20 most important words you can possibly know when you're traveling. I'm not talking about grammar rules or complex sentences. I'm talking about survival. The words that act like a universal key, unlocking doors, getting you help, and turning a moment of panic into a moment of connection. Think of it as your linguistic first aid kit. You don't need to be fluent to use it effectively. You just need to know where each tool is and when to reach for it. The first category is the absolute non-negotiables, the words that form the bedrock of any basic interaction. These are your please and thank you. Never underestimate their power. In any culture, politeness is your passport to better service and warmer interactions. Please, when you ask for something. Water, please. Thank you when you receive it. It's a simple acknowledgement of another person's effort, and it translates universally. Right alongside these is hello and goodbye. A smile and a hello when you enter a small shop sets a completely different tone than just walking in silently. It humanizes you. It says, I see you as a person, not just a vendor. Now, let's get to the practical rescue words. These are for moments of need. The word help is paramount. If you're lost, if you're feeling unwell, if something has happened, being able to clearly say, help please, cuts through any language barrier. It's a direct signal. Similarly, where is a question starter that will save you hours of confusion. Where is the train station? Where is the bathroom? You can even just point to a picture in your guidebook and say, where? It turns a vague feeling of being lost into a solvable problem. Then we have the words for navigation and confirmation. Left, right, and straight. When someone gives you directions, these are the words you need to catch. They are often accompanied by hand gestures, which makes them even easier to understand. And for confirmation, you need yes and no. Clear, unambiguous. Nodding and shaking your head work too, but saying the word reinforces it. Is this the bus to the city centre? Yes or no. It prevents you from getting on the wrong bus and ending up 30 miles in the wrong direction. Let's talk about money, because this is where confusion can get expensive. You need to know the words for the local currency, like euros, pesos, or yen. But more importantly, you need the word how much. How much while pointing at a souvenir or holding up a coffee cup. It invites the vendor to state a price, often by showing you numbers on a calculator or a written note. This simple phrase puts you in the position to agree or to try the next essential word, expensive. Now, you have to be careful with this one. Said with a smile, it can be the start of a friendly negotiation. Said with a frown, it might cause offense. But understanding that a price is expensive relative to what you expected is a crucial part of the travel experience. Finally, we have the words for your basic well-being. Food, water, and bathroom. These address fundamental human needs. If you're hungry, you can ask, food? Or look around and say, food, to find a restaurant. Water is critical, especially in hot climates, and bathroom, or toilet, is the one question you don't want to be struggling to ask when the moment arises. It's a universal urgency. Learn the local word if you can, but the English word, spoken clearly and with a slightly pained expression, is usually understood everywhere. So far, we've built a toolkit for politeness, for emergencies, for navigation, for transactions, and for basic needs. This is the foundation. But language isn't just about solving problems. It's also about making connections, about showing respect for the place you're visiting. In the next part, we'll move beyond survival and into the words that can actually enrich your journey, the ones that open up conversations and show that you're more than just a tourist passing through. We'll look at words for appreciation, for curiosity, and for those little moments of shared humanity that become the best souvenirs of all. Now, let's move into that richer territory. The first word here is beautiful. This is a powerful one. You can use it for a view, a building, a piece of art, or even a local dish that's presented wonderfully. Point at the ancient temple and say, beautiful. The local guide's face will light up. It shows you're not just there to take a photo and leave, you're actually perceiving and valuing what you see. It's a bridge. Next, delicious. This is beautiful for your taste buds. After trying a local speciality, look at the cook or server and say, Delicious. It's a direct compliment to their skill and culture. It often leads to smiles, maybe a story about the recipe, or even a recommendation for what to try next. It transforms a simple meal into an interaction. Then we have interesting. This is your safe word for curiosity. Maybe you see a custom you don't understand, or an artifact in a market. You can point and ask, "Interesting, what is this?" The tone is key, open, not judgmental. It invites an explanation. It says, "Teach me." This word can unlock stories you'd never find in a guidebook. Following that, helpful. If someone has gone out of their way for you, the hotel clerk who drew a detailed map, the stranger who walked you to the right bus stop, tell them, "You are very helpful." It acknowledges their effort specifically. People everywhere appreciate being seen as helpful rather than just a service provider. It humanizes the exchange. Now let's add a little depth with traditional. Ask, "Is this traditional?" About a food, a dance, a style of dress. This shows you're interested in the authenticity and history of a place. It often prompts pride and a more detailed answer than if you just asked, "What is this?" It frames your curiosity with respect. For those moments of genuine connection, you need name. Point to yourself and say your name. Then, with an open hand and a questioning look, ask, "Your name?" Knowing someone's name changes everything. The vendor becomes Maria. The taxi driver becomes Ahmed. It's the first step in moving from a transaction to a fleeting but real human connection. And with a name, you can then use "thank you" more personally. "Thank you, Maria." It lands differently. It's specific and memorable. We also need a word for shared experience, and that's photo. But use it wisely. Instead of just pointing your camera, ask "photo" with a gesture. It asks for permission. And even more powerful is "photo together." This is an invitation. It creates a shared moment, a digital souvenir for both of you. It says, "We met, and it was good." Finally, the word that ties it all together. Welcome. Not just the one you hear, but the one you say. If someone thanks you, you can say, "You're welcome." But more broadly, if you feel grateful for the hospitality of a place, you can say to someone, "I feel very welcome here." It's a profound compliment to an entire community. So, let's count our 20. We started with the essentials. Please. Thank you. Sorry. Help. Yes. No. We added the navigators. Where? Here. Left. Right. We covered transactions. How much? Good. Expensive. We addressed basic needs. Food, water, bathroom. And now we've built the connectors. Beautiful, delicious, interesting, helpful, traditional, name, photo, welcome. That's your toolkit. 20 words. But it's not about robotic vocabulary. It's about intention. It's the please that shows patience, the thank you that shows gratitude, the beautiful that shows you're paying attention, and the name that shows you see the person in front of you. This isn't just about saving yourself from trouble. It's about opening yourself to the world. These words are your keys. Use them not just to unlock doors, but to open windows into the places you go and the people you meet. The world is a conversation. Now you have the first few lines. Go and speak them.